Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jamie, Crafty DIY Guy, and I'm back. I've got 3 projects for you today. Technically, I guess it's 5 because the very first project you'll see I actually do 3 things with it, so super stoked about that. Hey, before we get into the projects though, I do want to say thank you if you are one of my long-term subscribers, one of my long-term friends. I really appreciate all of you guys being here. It has been a very fun ride since I started my channel, and I'm so grateful for all of you guys. If you're one of my newbies, thank you guys so much for sticking around and for hanging out with me. I hope that you are enjoying all the projects. If you are a person that just stumbled upon the channel, I'm going to call you a stumbler, then hopefully you'll become a newbie and subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you all so much for checking out the video. Today's projects are really cool because as I mentioned, the first project is made with some recyclables, like stuff that you typically throw away, and it does incorporate some Dollar Tree items as well into that. The second project incorporates some Dollar Tree items as well as some Trashmas items that I found. I will link the video to the Trashmas haul down below so you can see that one. And then the third project is actually scrap wood from when I had a garden. They were some garden stakes that I had. I don't know why I just did that, but I guess I was staking them in the ground. They were garden stakes that were left over from the garden last year. And I did, again, use some Dollar Tree items for that one too. So rather than me just keep rambling along, let's just get to the video. All right, everyone, and for our first project, we are going to be using some recyclable items. These were typically things that would very easily go in the trash. My first one is an Evian tequila bottle packaging. What I think is really cool about this is that this lid comes off of here, and this is just a cardboard tube, so if you could find any kind of cardboard tube, easily done. This is a container that some cigars come in. I'm in a club where I get cigars each month, and this is what they sent it in this month. And I love this because it was 2 pieces. Also, I'm going to grab some of this black nylon cording from Dollar Tree, and then this is the Amazon version of nautical rope. You could easily use Dollar Tree's nautical rope. And the very first thing I did was take everything outside and just give it some spray paint. In the middle or in the center of the tubes, I just spray painted it black on every single one of them. And then for that smaller piece, I just spray painted the top of that. So then I started with some of this nylon rope. And I did kind of start it on the inside of this tube, kind of like you see here. That way it would hold really good and I could very easily start wrapping this. So then as I wrapped that nylon cording around the tube itself, I just added a dot or 2 of hot glue as I went around. This holds really well against the cardboard, so you don't actually have to do a ton of hot glue on any of these projects, which is actually really good for me. As you know, I love my hot glue. And when it is covered with that black nylon cording, this is what it will look like. Then we need to just start to cover the top of that. I started with a small disc made out of that nautical rope and glued it down to the center, holding it with my finger protectors that I remembered to wear this time. And I just started literally wrapping the top of this little cylinder, as you can see in the nautical rope, until it was completely covered. And when you're all done and everything is dry, you can go ahead and take a lighter and just kind of burn off some of the frayed edges of that nautical rope. I think it gives it a nice clean look. And moving on to that Evian tequila bottle, don't worry, I'm going to show you everything at the end. I am just going to take some glue, again, using my Chandler Tools glue gun there, and I'm just going to start gluing some of this nautical rope right around the bottom of this vase or this container. What I'm doing though is, especially for this lower part, is I'm adding a very decent amount of hot glue, and I'm doing that just to make sure that everything holds down really well. And then once it does start to hold, you can simply just start wrapping that nautical rope all over that Evian tequila cardboard packaging, kind of like I am doing here. And then as you continue to work towards the top of the cylinder itself, it might get a little more difficult, but again, just grab your glue gun. I'm grabbing my Chandler Tools glue gun and just working my way around until it looks like this. I really love this, but I do want to kind of tame those frayed edges, so I'm doing that with my lighter. And now we are going to move on to the last part of this project. This is the lower half of that cigar container. So again, we're just going to start wrapping everything in nautical rope. As you can see, I'm adding a fairly decent amount of hot glue again to the bottom of this, just to kind of make sure that that glue stays in place. And then I will continue to wrap around the hot glue until I get to the starting point of where you see that orange cardboard on this particular cylinder. And after everything is wrapped, this is kind of what it will look like. So go ahead and just trim off your rope as you need to, and then you can set those pieces aside. Also, for the black nylon part, I'm just going to add a decent amount of hot glue right to the top of this, and then we are going to start wrapping all of this in that nylon rope that I purchased at Dollar Tree. And then I'm simply just going to take a lighter and again burn off all of the frayed edges on this container itself. And this is what all three of my first projects look like grouped together. I love this. I think it's a super great way to just place some flowers, maybe some greenery. Because these containers are not watertight, I do not recommend using fresh flowers unless you can think of something to put inside the containers to help hold that water in place. And then let's talk about that adorable little candle holder, perfect for this whole collection, which I'm really, really digging. And for the next project, we are going to take 2 of these hexagon shelves that you can pick up at Dollar Tree. I would have preferred to have black, but I'm going to go with the white for right now. Also, I was able to pick up 2 of these test tubes when I was out with a friend during our Trashmas shopping haul. We found these test tubes, and she very generously gave me 2 of them, so thank you, Kelly. By the way, these are about 6 inches long, just as a FYI. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of figure out how this bottle can suspend from the inside of this hexagon, because we're going to create a vase with this. Now, what you don't want to do is cut the hole to be the same size as the top there, because the tube will actually fall all the way through. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a piece of scrap cardboard and I'm just going to trace the bottom of the test tube out. That way I can use that kind of as my template for the hole that I'm going to be cutting in the top of these hexagon shelves. Now, this will make sense as you kind of see how it plays out. So just go ahead and cut that hole out, and then you'll have a nice template that you can use. I just drew it with a Sharpie here. As you can see, I put a hole, or started to put one on the wrong side. That hole should even up with those 2 hanging holes that you saw there. So I pulled out my wood burning tool and just slowly started to burn the hole completely in both of my shelves at the top, making sure that that test tube fit in there properly. Then I took everything outside and spray painted it black. You could certainly keep yours white if you wanted to kind of have more of a farmhouse look. And this is what they look like when they're all dry. Again, I love this. And then I simply just staged it with my test tube and some faux flowers from Dollar Tree, some rocks. I did add a little bit of water just to kind of give it some additional interest and to make it look like it was real. Again, super in love with these. Very industrial, very cool, but very transitional as well. For the next project, we are going to take that scrap wood that I talked about that came from my old garden. The 2 stakes on the right side of the screen, those are longer. Those are about 48 inches. And then the 4 smaller ones you see there are about 12 inches. Also, I grabbed some twine. You could use Dollar Tree nautical rope for this, and then a hammer and nails. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and just nail in my 12-inch pieces there. I'm giving them just a little bit of overlap on either side of the frame, and also what I'm doing is to make sure that everything is nice and straight. I am lining everything up with that end of that black poster board that I'm currently working on. You can kind of see that I'm just going to put 1 nail in either side of that, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to be able to adjust this just a little bit And then once everything is secured and nailed into place, I will go ahead and add in some extra nails on the back side of this as well. When my ladder was complete, this is what it looked like here. I did use my ruler there to the right just to make sure that everything was spaced properly. Then I took everything outside and gave it a coat of flat black paint from Rust-Oleum. I love this paint. This is probably one of my favorite colors, and I'm actually out of it after this project. So I'm going to go buy some more. So this is what the ladder looks like after one coat of paint. I am just doing one coat. And then for the actual ropes themselves, what I'm going to do is I'm cutting about 16 pieces of rope here. That way I can put 2 pieces per side per rung. And then I want to create kind of a crisscross pattern on the front of the ladder, but this rope is kind of thick and it's kind of hard to work with. And if I tied just a normal crisscross knot on here, it's going to be very bulky on the back. So instead, what I'm doing is I'm taking 2 pieces and I'm actually going to trim them down and hot glue them to the ladder frame itself. So it'll look like this. So then I'll show you what the rest of that looks like. And my big head is in the way, so I do apologize for that. You'll see in just a minute here what I did was I just wrapped the rope and then used some hot glue and my finger protector and just held that into place until it dried and stayed where it needed to stay. And then I also repeated this again, going in the opposite direction, once again trimming that rope down, once again getting my big head in the way, and then hot gluing that down and holding it into place. And this is what the ladder looks like when it is finished. I love the way this looks. I love that rope detail on each one of the rungs of the ladder. I think it gives it a really cool modern farmhouse vibe. And this is what it looks like when I've staged it. It could be a great dressing station. It could be a blanket ladder. It could be something for magazines. There's really a lot of really cool versatility with this particular one, and I love it. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and as always, thank you so much. Take care.